The Seattle Sounders' brand new 2025 kit is here. Inspired by two traditional Southern Coast Salish weaving techniques, twilling and twinning. These techniques, passed down through generations, honor the resilience, deep-rooted ties, and creativity that define the cultural fabric of this region. The striking deep blue jersey will be worn by the Sounders for the next 2 seasons to honor the club's deep connection with the Puget Sound and shared responsibility as stewards of the greater Salish Sea watershed. Backing up that commitment, the Seattle Sounders will donate up to $50,000 to benefit community charities around the Puget Sound region. To get your very own Salish Sea kit, visit lobbingscorchers.com/kit. That's lobbingscorchers.com/KIT. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a nightmare in LA as the Seattle Sounders were absolutely smacked around, finishing the match 4-0. Was there anything good to talk about? Well, we'll get there. But Ari, how are you feeling? This was a night to not remember.
I feel let down because when I saw the lineup, I was actually kind of excited. You know, it's midweek, you're rotated to all hell, short rest, rivalry game coming up. You got Andy T out there, you got John Bell out there, you got the Danny Leyva, JP double pivot out there, you got Osaze out there. So normally, if I look at that, I might feel like the deck is stacked super heavily against you, but I didn't feel like that. I was like, all right, let's see what this 11 can do. We've been talking about the depth. It's been going well lately. Let's see what Osaze can do. Like what I've seen from the JP-Danny Leyva double pivot for the most part. Got De La Vega out there. You got Ferreira out there. Let's make something happen, you know? And that did not pan out. I thought they hung with it in the first half for the most part. They give up the goal to Under, but I felt like they were doing a pretty good job of generating looks off set pieces, at least. Like Danny Leyva had the one that barely missed. There was a couple other. There was like
Pedro hit the crossbar on that.
Yeah, De La Vega had the one off the bar.
Yep.
Maybe if the Danny Leyva one goes in or the De La Vega one goes in, the game takes on a different trajectory. But then in the second half, it just got out of hand. Got out of hand at the very end there. It felt like it looked like the game that Seattle was playing against LAFC in Seattle the first time. It was just like an exact role reversal. So I would say if we're doing crash up, crash out, I'm definitely not crashing up, but I'm not fully crashing out either. Where are you on that scale?
I'm not crashing out either, but I'm definitely not pleased with the result. I think it was some poor management with some substitutions and some game planning there. I think that they probably could have stuck some more starters out there to start the game and actually like have a chance against LAFC, who, you know, we knew that they were going to come out with a somewhat strong lineup. You know, Bouanga is going to play. You know that Under is probably going to play. And so what happened was basically, you know, you started there was how many players that didn't play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rotations. I mean, seven or 8 players rotated. I'm sorry, like regardless of how it's going to go, that's never going to be a really good result. I thought some individual performances, some individual players had some of their worst performances of their career in this match. And because of that, I just feel like this is one of those games that we can say that happened. That sure happened on a midweek in LA. You know, wish we would have gotten a point, but it is what it is. And you kind of got to look forward to Portland, but I don't really think it defines this team in any way, but maybe you see it different.
No, I mean, I just think it's one thing to drop this game, you know, considering the lineup, considering the fixture congestion and all that. But it's the second time they've like been in a situation like that and gotten run. And
yeah,
that shouldn't happen to this team. And, you know, I already see it going on in chat. It was going on before we even started streaming. But if you want to criticize Jesus Ferreira tonight, fair.
Valid. He had a terrible game.
Yeah, and
He was, people say ghost
why
mag.
I'm getting chirped because I'd been defending him from the standpoint of I felt like the talk of him being like a complete bust was overblown. I still feel like he's done some good work as a facilitator this year. He's had some good games individually.
What do you think was his problem tonight? What do you think was his problem? Because he just wasn't getting involved at all, and it didn't seem like he was even interested in getting involved.
Looked like the exact same thing as the other games that have happened this year where he wasn't getting involved enough. I thought, if you look at his worst games this year, the St. Louis game, San Diego game, felt like it pretty much looked like that. And it's fair to be critical of that because we're a third of the way through the season at this point, and I feel like it just shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. We got a $10 super chat here from Barry. Did Leyva look overwhelmed? JP looked slow. JF9 looks done. I'll start with the first one. I thought Leyva, for basically not playing a full match in many weeks, looked fine. People were chirping me online saying he was bad. I didn't see it that way. I thought he was actively good quality. JP did look slow, and I think that that's part of why he looked bad or challenged, because frankly, like that double pivot it's just not going to work against this this attack that feasts on those midfield turnovers and all of that kind of stuff. And JP couldn't get back to save his life. Leyva looked he looked maybe overwhelmed, but I think a better word is he just looked tired. Like he just looked like he was playing hard for the entire game and he was just gassed. And for Jesus Ferreira being done, I mean, you never say they're done, but it's definitely not looking good for the agenda. It looks like we've got presser about to happen here. So Danny and Paul hopping on the call with us, and then we'll get your response to this after that.
Please use the hand raise function in Zoom. We'll jump right into questions. Jeremiah Oshan, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, obviously not the result you all wanted, but where did you start to see that go wrong, and what do you think you could have possibly learned from this game?
Yeah, obviously not the result we wanted. I think ball didn't fall our way tonight early, but I also think we've got a lot to learn from this game. I think we're going to get better from this game. I think, we let the game get too open, especially as the game got stretched. We know this team's a really difficult team to play once they get the first goal. If we get one of those goals from those set pieces, we hit the crossbar, we had some good chances, 1-1 going to halftime. It's a different game, but going down 2-0 really hurt us, and then the game's getting stretched. We're chasing, and then obviously they're really dangerous on the counter. So, I think all of us need to reflect a little bit on our own personal performances, but not our best tonight.
Next, we'll go to Jada Evans. Jada, go ahead.
Thanks. This seemed to be one of their better defensive games against you guys. Danny, you guys didn't have much possession either. Can you talk a little bit about what was kind of going on in the middle of the pitch to try and, get some possession and get some offense going?
Yeah, I think, once the game got stretched, I think it was also due to our execution. I think at times we lost too many simple passes, or the combinations maybe really got picked off. And I think we want to build momentum and control possession. I think that's where we need to be sharp. We need to be clean, and maintaining possession. Having that balance of trying to go forward, trying to create, but also understand that we were playing away, that we need to control a little bit of the tempo, and that having the game stretch played into their favor. So I think it's a lot of small details that we need to fix, and I think it's just concentration, just execution of the passes, and an understanding between players, forming those relationships, those connections. So knowing where he wants to pass, playing into the right foot and all that. But I think it was just execution at times, kind of didn't play our part.
And then, Paul, you've played in the other game. Did you feel at all that they were maybe wanting to get a little bit back at y'all, for the 5-2? I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of spice to this game too.
Yeah, I think, this has become a really good rivalry. And, they had our number for a good portion last year. We then won the game that really counted at the end of the year. And then we, beat them pretty handily at home. So that's 2 in a row for us. And I think that adds an extra fuel to their fire. I think this is a difficult place to play. They didn't surprise us as far as how they came out. I think we were expecting them to high press us, and we struggled with that a little bit. It took us probably 20 minutes to get into the game, at least before they scored, and then we started having some better possession spells. But I think we've got to take some good lessons. We're going to be better from this game, and we now have got to regroup before Portland, because obviously another huge rivalry game this Saturday and slightly less rest. So.
All right, next we'll go to Nico Moreno. Nico, go ahead.
Thank you. Paul, obviously, when you have this heavy rotation, you're expecting things to not go as well, not be as smooth, but mentally, how much of a setback is the score line to the momentum you guys were having prior to this game?
Yeah, I think, we've been building some really strong momentum in the last couple of games. We had, I think it's, 12 points in 5 games or something like that. But I don't think it changes our mentality or our momentum necessarily. If we go in and we get 3 points at Portland, that's a 6-point week. We'll take that. We knew this game was going to be difficult. We did have a heavily rotated squad. So, I think in some respect it's good because some people got some more minutes under the belt that they haven't got this year. Stuart Hawkins got in the game, and Saze got his first start, and Danny and JP got another start together, which was good. So I don't think it's completely negative, but this one hurts for sure. I think if anything, it's going to humble us a little bit, and we've got to regroup properly for this weekend.
And Danny, obviously, you get another start here with JP. It's maybe at times not easy to come in and have to perform when there's not a lot of continuity, but as the road you're kind of in, how much of that maybe rust or things you have to work through in order to just get going in this game today?
Yeah, I think it's tough, in terms of getting the rhythm, like you said. When you haven't played in a while, or in our case, but I think for us that really, we don't look at it that way. I think we need to be sharp always. I feel like we've been training really well throughout the week. We try to prepare, every week, like if we're gonna play, and if we're not playing, try and push the starters so that they're ready as well. So I think, for us, we gotta have the standard high. I think we have a really good team, not just the 11 that start, the bench and the guys, everyone part of the team. I think we have the quality, to win a championship, and this team is really deep. So I think everyone needs to be ready. I don't think, not having that continuity, like you said, needs to play a big part, because I think it's all mentally, how you prepare, how you train. So I think, we've been doing that, and obviously tonight wasn't the game we wanted, but I think it's something where we have to learn and take the positives and also look at the negatives and try to improve the negatives, so that whenever we get the chance again, or we have to support in any way we can, we do it in the best possible manner.
All right, we'll go next to Felipe Makeda. Felipe, go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, Alex. Dani, finalmente terminó la racha de 5 goles sin perder. Tenían un momento que el equipo iba muy bien. Ahora el equipo no generó mucho al frente, únicamente 3 disparos a gol. ¿Qué crees que sucedió y qué tanto influye esto en el ánimo para preparar el partido contra Timbers?
Sí, obviamente, como tú lo dices, no tuvimos tantas oportunidades de gol como quisiéramos, pero creo que hubo buenos momentos donde tuvimos esas oportunidades donde, no sé, en balones parados, metemos esa y
That
es un
Gatorade
impacto
low-key looks
diferente,
so good, dude.
pero bueno, hay que
I like
reflexionar,
the red
hay
Gatorade.
que ser autocríticos y también saber que no fue un buen partido, especialmente en el segundo tiempo, donde teníamos que salir con más intensidad, tratar de hacer lo que hicimos en los últimos 20 del primer tiempo. Creo que nos faltó esa intensidad, ese control, ese manejo de partido y decir, bueno, estamos jugando fuera de casa, que obviamente es un lugar difícil de jugar acá, y sabíamos que ellos querían hacer eso, querían que el partido se abriera. En el contragolpe son muy rápidos, son muy directos y peligrosos en el ataque, entonces nosotros tenemos que tal vez contrarrestar eso con más posesión, más inteligencia en manejar el partido, bajarle el ritmo a veces, y creo que fueron detalles en los goles que tenemos que estar un poco más concentrados, más prendidos y tener ese colmillo de manejar esos momentos.
I see one more hand up, so we'll call on Jorge Santos next, but if you'd like to ask a
Ahí
follow-up.
está, definitivamente.
Hold on, Jorge, if you'd like to ask a follow-up question, please use the hand raise function before we cut these guys out, but Jorge Santos, go ahead.
So, Paul and Danny, last year it seemed like LAFC had a gap over you guys, and even the game on the playoffs, it seemed like the Sounders had to adapt to LAFC. But this year, even if the result doesn't really show it, it seems like you guys are more on par with the LAFC. Is that how you felt on the pitch, where maybe if that header from Pedro had gone in, that the game would be tighter, or do you still feel like LAFC is on a different level? And Paul, do you prefer to play on the right or on the left? Last game you played on the right. This time you came back to the left.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I think, with regards to your first question, we have respect for that team, but I still bank on our team over theirs over the course of the year. I think we've grown a lot this year. We're deeper this year. We're playing a more congruent style together. I think this game looks really different if one of those chances goes in and we're 1-1, and it's unfortunate that it didn't, and the ball wasn't really rolling our way today. But yeah, I don't think that changes how we feel against this team. And I think last year we did, if I look back to some of those earlier games against LAFC, it was really challenging losing 3 in a row against them, and to beat them 5-2 at home, and now to have this happen, it's a good rivalry. I think we're going to see them again this year at some point. And then with regards to my positioning, I'm open to playing both. I've played a lot of different positions throughout my career. I think it depends on the game, the game plan, who we're going against. But I'm happy on either side.
Danny, Paul, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it, and safe flight home.
All right. That was Danny Leyva and Paul Rothrock. Danny Leyva and Paul Rothrock hitting us with some heaters. Ari, I wanted to go back to this question before we get Schmetz audio.
Okay.
Did Leyva look overwhelmed? Did JP look slow? And is Jesus Ferreira cooked?
My take on the double pivot is that I thought it held its own in the first half.
That's good, but the man is here.
Coach, thanks for joining us. Following tonight's match, would you like to start with a statement or jump right into questions?
Jump into the questions.
All righty. Jeremiah, why don't you go ahead and lead us off?
Jeremiah.
Off mute, Jeremiah.
Thank you. Sorry. Obviously not the result you wanted, but
Bro,
where did
like
you start to see this game start to sort of unravel? Or Danny and Paul seem to think it was really after 2-0, but I don't know. Did you like the way it was going before that?
2-0. I mean, look, the second goal, kind of made it a real challenge. I would say, look, again, everything you reflect and you think about yourself first. What could I have done better? What could the coaches have done better? You know, the first goal, Jeremiah, you know, top of the box was open. We didn't have a guy in that area. Kalani had gone out and cleared a deeper ball. Jesus ended up marking because they overran. You know, they overran us with 6 guys in the box. But, you know, we need to do a better job there of, you know, making sure that that area of the field is covered. And so even that first goal just seemed to typify our night. Andrew makes that save easy. It hits Nuhu in the shin. It goes in the goal. So tough start. You know, I thought after the goal, you know, we played a little better towards the end of the second half. Look, we had the crossbar. We had some half chances here or there. You know, the set pieces were good. But yeah, it seemed like coming out of halftime, we needed to extend the game a little bit before we conceded again.
All right, we'll go next to Jada Evans. Jada, go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for the time. Brian, they also had a rotated squad, but their defense was a lot better than yours. Is that a matter of, where do you kind of accredit that to? I mean, because you also had, you know, changes back there.
Yeah, I mean, look, was it our best defensive game? No. Did they do enough to keep us off the board score sheet? Yes, that's a fact. But again, you know, a couple half chances here, there, 1-1. You know, Pedro, the one header in the box. You know, Asaze, the one header. Maybe one of those goes in, 1-1. It's a little bit different. They had a rotated squad. We had a rotated squad. But their team made the plays. That's all I can say, Jada. We'll watch the tape. But again, if you want to, we've talked about the first goal and the second goal. You know, Pedro maybe dribbling a little bit, and our active defending wasn't great when the guy got in from this side of the halfway line. That's why he wasn't offsides. But, you know, even the third goal, Kim Ki-hee does a good job. I thought Kalani did a really good job on Bawanga tonight. You know, Kim Ki-hee makes a tackle, but the ball bounces right back to Bawanga and he toe pokes it in. So it was just one of those nights.
And then as far as your momentum goes, how do you think maybe this would, you know, kind of impact the fact that you guys had 5 unbeaten streak, and, you know, that snapped, and it snapped in a bad way in terms of for
the scoreline certainly isn't something that we're proud of, Jada. Nobody wants to take 4 goals and not be able to put something up on the other end. We'll again watch the tape with this group of guys that came out, and the expectations is that this group, coaching staff and players, all of us together, will have a good game plan for Portland, our arch rival, and, you know, we'll go down to Portland and try and collect some points.
Nico Moreno, go ahead.
Yes, Brian, thank you for your time. I was just curious in terms of, obviously you've been working with both the 4-2-3-1 and the 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, but going back to that today, how much was that trying to kind of match up a little bit what LAFC gave you with the 4-3-3 and or the personnel you were kind of throwing out today?
I just thought the 3-4-3 matched our personnel a little bit better. We had success against LAFC with that formation. So that was the reason behind it. Obviously, it didn't work. Second half, we changed to 4-2-3-1, and I think we took at least 1 goal out of that formation. So, you know, neither formation seemed to work tonight.
Today, you also starred Osase de Rosario, first start. Just your takes on him. Seemed to have a hard time just getting on the ball, but maybe a lot of that had to do with the lack of services into him as well. But just your overall thoughts on his performance.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a tough outing to put him in a game with a rotated squad against a good LAFC team at home. My expectations for him, they were in line with who he is, where he's at in his career. I thought he did okay in some moments. Obviously, there's some things that I'm going to show him on the film, and he'll get better. But, big body, got some good starting points, but he just needs a little more seasoning. That's all.
We'll go to Jorge Santos next before follow-up. So Jorge, go ahead and ask your question.
Coach, it doesn't seem so by the result, but to me it seemed like the gap between the Sounders and the LAFC is smaller than last year, or it actually disappeared. How did you feel about the game? Because it felt like at certain points, if Pedro Header had gone in, that you would be in the game. So the result seems a little bit imbalanced. And then what you thought about Stuart Hawkins and his first game?
So I'm sure Steve Cherundolo thought the same 5-2 when he played us up in Seattle. I'm sure he felt the same thing, because I agree with you. The difference between the two clubs, certainly up in Seattle and here, certainly there was a difference in the scoreline, but I think the teams are evenly matched. I think it's a good rivalry. I think, LAFC is obviously a big team, and we're a big team. And, some of the games in the playoffs last year, I mean, it's a good rivalry. So the outcome of this game, we're going to try and move past it quickly. But I agree with you that, the ball drops a little differently here. We make a play here. The game could be a little closer. I'm not saying we could have won, but certainly it could have been a little bit closer. And then Stuart, it was a tough, I talk about Asaze coming in and starting a game, but it was also a tough assignment for Stuart to come in when he did, because, the game was really stretched. And, he made a couple plays and he looked pretty composed on the ball. So overall, I was pleased.
Thank you.
All right, we will circle back for a couple follow-ups. I see two hands up. So we'll go to Jeremiah next. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Yeah, obviously Steph and Christian didn't make the trip, I guess. Is that just rest, or is there something else there?
Christian had played the most minutes on the squad, and Steph, it was a midweek, and he's an older goalkeeper, and Andrew is the, goalkeeper of the future. So that's the reason for the decisions.
All righty, I see one more hand up. So Nico Moreno, why don't you close this out?
Thank you. Another question about health. Yamar came off in the second half. Was that because of anything physically, or was that just a decision?
There were planned substitutions in this game. Yamar and Kim Ki-hee being one of them. Steph and Christian, seeing which one of Jesus and Pedro, which one was going to go a little bit longer, shorter, depending on what the game like in Portland is how we're going to start. Ryan Kent not playing back-to-back. We don't know enough about him. Paul Rothrock has had heavy minutes. We left him on. Maybe he comes on as a sub for Portland. So there were certain things throughout the game as the scoreline got, increased that we're looking at for Portland.
And lastly, message to the team. Clearly, one of the good things about midweek game is that you get to turn the page pretty quickly, maybe put all these frustrations into Portland. But you're curious about your message to the team after this game.
Well, obviously, I wasn't pleased with the outcome. But I can't kill that group of players because, they worked till the end. Was the quality there? Certain moments, did we make plays? No. So there is that dose of reality. We try and turn these games into teaching moments, like Osaze, what could he have done on that first goal? Kalani, what was the thought process? Making sure that the guys understood that wasn't up to the standard that we set at the club. But at the same time, I can't kill those guys. It's my decision to put that team out on the field. So I have to own that up.
Thank you, Brian. Have a safe trip home.
Brian, thank you for your time. Safe flight home. Media, thank you for joining us. If you could hang on for just a second.
I think you're on mute.
Sorry, I left that because I was not about to leak whatever Alex was going to say, because that's for media and not for the chat. We're getting begged to call into Happy Foot, Sad Foot. Ari, should I do that for us really quick? You can roll some people, and then I can hop back in. Is this or is
I
that
just gotta go get my door at some point is the only thing. So what if that happens
okay?
when we're both?
I mean, you just say, don't say anything bad.
All right.
You know?
I'll drop the call link in the chat. And then you can go.
I'll be quick. I'll be 5 minutes.
I mean, honestly, cook as long as you want. That's I'm sure they're
Okay.
yucking it up over there.
I'm sure they are. Okay. But definitely hit I have a lot to say on this, so I will be back, chat. I'll be right back, okay?
Noah's gonna go hang out with Happy Foot, Sad Foot. See what's going on over there. I dropped the call link in chat, so if you want to come cope, feel free to hop on. I do have to, like I was saying, I have to get up and let my brother in my apartment at some point. So that's going to happen at some point. But otherwise, I'll just keep riffing on this L. And then if anyone's in the queue, feel free to hop on and drop some takes. I think the money quote from the Schmetzer presser right there was dose of reality. We'd been having too much fun. That's my door actually right now. So sorry guys, I'm gonna be back in like 60 seconds.
Listen, of course that would happen. Ari would immediately get that call and have to get his door right then. But it's okay. Don't you worry, chat. I'm back. I'm here. Okay, now he's back. Wait. Okay, look.
I'm back.
Sick. Okay, I left so I
sad
could
for
come
now.
back to save it, but like, okay, I'll be back. Okay, this is great content. This is what you get with midweek.
I mean, it's an L stream, so
Yeah, L stream. Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh, you're leaving again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go call in now. I didn't get to.
Oh, you didn't go. You didn't.
Because I saw you left. Anyway, I'll be.
All right. All right. Yeah, I thought the money quote there, like I was saying, dose of reality. I don't want to lose total sight of the form that the team had been in leading up to this game. There's a reason we've been having fun the last few weeks. But this was a dose of reality, and I think the concern is that with the depth that we're seeing and we're hope to continue to see for this team, like the hope is that you could go into a game like this where you're heavily rotated. You're playing the depth guys, and you should at least be able to compete in this game, in a game like this. And to be fair, I thought, like I said earlier, I thought they hung with it for the first half. Then it got away from them at the end there. But it was not a good night. Sorry guys, I'm a little distracted right now. I'm trying to do double duty with the website here. Someone call in and lay down some takes. Help me cope. I for one am incensed that an MLS team isn't 3 deep at every position. And that's fair. That's fair. But like I said, man, when I saw the starting 11, I was hopeful, cautiously optimistic. Not that they were going to go out there and run on LAFC. But I was hoping that they could take a result. I thought it was attainable based on the 11 that I saw. I thought before this, the JP-Danny Leyva double pivot had functioned all right this year. Rothrock was out there. I thought Rothrock actually was pretty good in the first half. I thought the whatever danger that they were generating from open play was down his side. There was some. I thought KKR was pretty good. I still like what I'm seeing from KKR. I think that might be about it. Rothrock and KKR. De La Vega had some okay moments. He had the header off the post. That was a nice little flick in the box there. Repost the link for Collins 1 second. Oh, no, it just did. At the end of the day, going 1-1 with LAFC on the season is not the end of the world. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I think it's the manner of the result that was unfortunate. All right, we got James in the queue. James, thank you for hopping on, man. You're helping me out right now, doing me a solid.
I'm glad I could do that. I never like to be the first caller, but seemed like you needed somebody. So yeah.
How are you feeling? 4-0 demolition at the hands of LAFC.
I think you made a really good point, which is that what we were sort of promised with this roster approach, where we're not necessarily upping our game on the DP level, we're going for a depth thing, with the idea being that we can get through MLS, CCC, Leagues Cup, and Club World Cup. So we ought to be able to handle a few of these midweek games, and to have a complete demolition like that when it isn't even like a youth team. I mean, we still got our record signing out there. We've got our record Garber Bucks signing, Max Tamguy and Jesus Ferreira, and it still looks that bad. I think that's kind of a blow to this roster approach.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to get too wrapped up in an individual result or the most recent result, because I think if you look back at the past few weeks, the team has been playing really well and scoring a ton of goals. So I don't think that means the roster approach is validated any more than it would be fully invalidated by this one game. But I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. The Ferreira thing is, I feel like it was 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. This was a step back, regression to some of the stuff we saw previously this season, where he's just not been influential enough. So, there's still 2/3 of the season to go. But if what we saw from a rotated side tonight is what we see from when they have to rotate going forward, everything you said will be provenly true.
And I don't think it's necessarily just about rotation, although obviously that did put us at a disadvantage. But, when we've had those games, the San Diego game, when we've had these games with sort of elite MLS talents, we've had a lot of problems. I mean, we did have that good run, of course, but those weren't the top teams in the league, and they, you don't have your Buangas there or your Chuckies there. I think Schmetzer's a great manager. A lot of people were crashing out on him on the social media and everything after this. I think that yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people unhappy.
I guess probably for the lineup, right?
With this lineup. Yeah. But I just think that he does as well as he possibly can with the tools that he's given. But when he runs into these teams that just have higher top end talent, there's only so much he could do. And I mean, I think that we kind of saw that against San Diego, and I think we saw that today. I mean, and of course, the recurring injury problems aren't helping either.
No, I think, like I said, going into this road trip, I was saying that 1-1-1 would be okay. 2-0-1 would be like, I mean, obviously ideal would have been 3-0-0, but 2-0-1, I would have taken that as like a solid haul. And obviously that's off the table now. But I mean, I think people were mentioning it earlier, but the pressure of this Portland game got way higher, because if you go out there and you put on a good performance and you win that game, I personally will never think about this game again. But if they go out there and they get worked by Portland, or they even just take an L to Portland, the vibes that had recently been so good will be kind of back down to where they were at the tough earlier part of the season. So how are you feeling about this Portland game?
They've got a top level MLS offense and a USL2 defense. So I think
that's a good way to put it.
I'm worried about that level of offense after what happened tonight. Although if you get Kim in there and you get Yamar in there, maybe it's not quite as dire. But I if they can figure out how to shut down Kent, I don't know where our goals are going to come from, because I thought that was, with the subs that came on, Musovski and Kent didn't really get a lot done, but they were trying. I thought Rusnak's cameo in this was horrible. I mean, really horrible. I was sort of keeping track of the stats. I think in about the first 12, 15 minutes, he touched the ball once or twice. He wasn't pressing. And it's only 2-0 at that point. Something can be done. When you're the team's highest paid player, I mean, you got to be out there trying to turn it around. And I thought it was just appalling.
Appalling. Yeah, and I know that you're not the biggest fan of
my opinions are not a secret.
It's not it's not a secret. I felt like go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. No.
I felt like I was just gonna say I felt like the whole second half was pretty much a disaster across the board. Like I don't know if anyone's exempt, but the subs did not tilt the game at all. So
no, but I mean they were trying. I mean Kent was trying. He was tracking back. He was working hard. Musovski was trying to make something happen. And Rusnak wasn't getting on the ball at all. He wasn't pressing on defense, and he really only started doing much of anything after the game went to 3-0 and then 4-0. I mean, to me, that's one of the reasons I don't think that he can be your DP, is that I think he plays scared until the game's already decided. I didn't think he was good in that St. Louis game until Kent broke it open, and then he started making some runs. I didn't think he did much of anything against Houston until they went down to 10. And it's that Columbus pattern from last year. It's, he's ineffective until some disaster befalls the other team. And then he's actually kind of putting in a DP level performance. When LAFC didn't happen with them, and there was just nothing there. I mean, again, one touch in the first 12, 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, if people want to be critical of Rusnak tonight and of Ferreira tonight, I'm not going to argue with it. I feel like I haven't made my opinions on either of those players a secret either.
Ferreira made Rusnak look really good, though. I mean, I'll say that.
It was tough, man. It was tough, and I had just gone to bat for him. I was on here saying that people were overblowing how bad it's been. I still think, I don't know, this game doesn't change my feelings on the total body of work necessarily, but like I mean, it's definitely for it to look just like that much like it had in the San Diego game you referenced and that first St. Louis game. Kind of felt like a carbon copy, didn't it? Like that's
yeah. Well, I mean, what it kind of reminded me of is actually it reminded me a lot of what happened last year with LAFC, where we went on a run beating some of the kind of lesser teams. I think New England and Chicago were in there, starting to feel good, starting to get momentum, and then LAFC dropped us 3-0, and it's like, wow, there's still a gap there. You know, there's still a lot that we have to work on.
Yeah, but like these two teams played in similar circumstances in Seattle earlier this season, and it went like the exact opposite way. That's why with MLS sometimes I like don't know exactly how to read into it, because I mean that was pretty much the same situation, was it not? Like, and it was the exact opposite.
They were rotated. We were a little bit rotated. I mean, I guess, you know, with that one, I do wonder how repeatable what we did in that one was, because I don't know how many 25-yard thunder bastards Paul Rothrock's going to put in.
KKR
Christian's hit from distance really well lately.
Who had
Christian. Yeah, he had a golazo in that first LAFC game, and he's been hitting a lot of pile drivers this season.
Yeah, he and Obed had just been in such good form, and even though like I said, I thought the double pivot wasn't horrible in the first half, but it's definitely a drop off. I got another caller in the queue, James, but floor is yours.
Absolutely.
For any final thoughts or takes coming off this game and going into Portland.
I wish that there was a rule in MLS where we could sub in Leyva to take corners.
He actually almost had that free kick too.
His free kick was pretty good. And his corners, he put a couple of dimes in there on the corners.
His set piece service was good, I think. For however it went wrong with the double pivot, his set pieces were nice.
Yeah, but other than the set pieces, I think overmatched is a fair description. All
right.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, James. Appreciate it as always. Have a good one. All right, we got Sammy up next. Sammy, if you're ready and you can hear me, hit me with the thumbs up. We'll get you on the stage. All right. Sammy,
hey, how you doing?
How's it going, man? 4-0 at LAFC. How you feeling?
You know, I'm not really that upset with it. You know, like you talked earlier, like when they were in Seattle, we had heavy rotated lineups. You know, we got the better of them. Another time of heavy rotated lineups, and they got the better of us. So I'm not too worried about it. But I will say that for me, it is, if we don't win at Portland now, or at least make it very competitive, then this was all for nothing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll tell you the circumstance where I would be crashing out over this game. Like, if that game was played like both teams like at full strength, like first choice 11 versus first choice 11, and it was still 4-0, then I think it's worth crashing out over more. This lineup, I think it was always going to be tough, but I think where it's very fair to be disappointed is just how much it got away from them, especially with how good they had been playing in recent weeks. You would have liked to see them like keep it closer in the second half, obviously.
Yeah, no, I agree. One thing I wanted to mention from the last guy that was just talking about Danny Leyva and the corner and the free kick. I'm not gonna lie, I was over here, you know, kind of rooting like, hey, Nuhu, go ahead and take that free kick. Just because, you know, I seen him on the Instagram.
Did you see that clip? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was like, all right, let's see what he can do. You know,
Noah's back. Andy,
they drank champagne in front of me. They popped champagne in front of me.
That's fair. I mean, we did that to them, so.
I have some whiskey over here if you need a sip. So.
You got the right idea. You got It's that type of night. Yeah, Yeah, go for it, Sammy.
I was going to say, I thought so. The chat was talking about Danny Leyva looking overwhelmed.
There is red hot Danny Leyva discourse going on in the
So
chat.
for me, I thought it was that Danny Leyva looked overwhelmed because JP was just not there. We all know he's an older player. He's not what he used to be, and I felt like Danny Leyva was trying to make up for both him and JP.
Noah, how are you feeling?
I think that's the correct take. Danny Leyva, I thought, had a fine match. I don't really understand why the hate is going on him. It just seems like a let's pick a person to pick on type of moment. I thought JP had way more to do with the defensive issues in the midfield, and I don't really get the hate on the fourth string center midfielder. Like, I thought he was playing way better than anyone. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the hate. Who I was hating on though was JP. I will be honest. I think he looked slow and old, and I think unfortunately, chat, he might be cooked.
See, I actually remember thinking in the first half that JP was doing some good stuff. Like in the first 20, 30 minutes. Like I thought he did some good stuff, winning the ball back, like in pretty advanced areas of the field, and he was springing some stuff, but I think the whole thing spiraled obviously in the second half.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about Andy T already?
No. Miss your Andy T takes.
Greatest goalkeeper alive. That's my boy. I just defended him on the Happy Foot Sad Foot podcast, but
they were talking on the broadcast about how the first goal was like all his fault.
He was pretty bad. This was probably the worst game I've ever seen him play. Actively one of the worst of his career. And it's really funny because I posted after the fact. I was like, I've been hearing, we've talked about it here and on the podcast, like, I've been hearing so many takes about, oh, Fry is terrible, bro. Why are we playing Fry? Fry's bad, bro. Like, he's so old. I don't know.
There's still a clear
seems like a starter to me.
Sammy, what did you think of Andy?
I definitely think Andy T got a little comfortable in the MLS Next Pro. I would actually say the second goal, obviously with John Bell getting put on skates, that is definitely his fault. But I was also wondering what is Andy T doing coming out after John Bell is already marking that guy? He started coming out before John Bell got cooked. So I was really confused on why he started to come out and then just got beat.
Yeah, and that first goal was tough. Andy T could have done better there, but it was another goal. Like, it wasn't directly off the set piece, but the chance was like created from. There's this stuff with the set pieces, man.
Classic.
Stop conceding off these. That's honestly one of my bigger complaints among many. Is that.
I'd have to go back and look at the statistics, but I feel like Seattle over the past 3 to 4 years has not been good on set pieces defending.
I feel like during the Schmetzer era, that's not been something that I remember, at least as like a super big problem. Feels like I think it's been much worse. It's been a problem in the past. It feels like it's worse this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely think it is worse this year, but I do feel like it has been a problem at least over the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly don't.
Be interesting to look that up because
I don't know.
Just going off my memory, I don't recall being week in, week out like this, like they conceded another one, or just I feel like this year, even in games where they haven't conceded off of them, they're just giving up these phenomenal chances to the other teams on these plays.
Yeah.
So somebody in the chat said that we need to have Chad Marshall come back to coach me, and I'm all for that. I miss my dad bod of Chad Marshall out there. Just
greatest MLS defender of all time.
I think about that all the time, man. Because he was the CB when I first started covering the team, and I just got used to center back just never ever makes a mistake ever. That's sick. Like this must just be what life is like. And then ever since he retired, life is not like that.
Should we address the crash out in chat directly?
Who's crashing out? I'm not looking.
Chad, I feel like, has been crashing out in chat here, and he's like, I don't know why Atencio got sold over Leyva and Clown and all this stuff, and all whatever, bro. Let me be honest with you. Danny Leyva is 100 times the soccer player you will ever be. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. It's like I hate this. It's like you're sitting in there chirping, and absolutely, there's absolutely people who are better on this team and in the planet. But guess what? Danny Leyva, he's the fourth string. And you know what? That's what it is, okay? I think he's good. I think he's serviceable. And if that's your red line, man, you should probably just never watch soccer. I don't know. Like I don't get it. What's the crash out about?
I seen a lot of his takes today, and I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that totally. Like, also, I'm wondering. So you
hate you for your opinions. Keep cooking, brother. Keep cooking. We welcome.
Danny Leyva's fourth string. Are you saying JP's over Danny Leyva? Because I would not say that.
Probably not. Yeah, he's probably third. Now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's probably no. Listen, Jake. I'm being facetious. Obviously, I'm just saying it's like a little ridiculous to be like. It was a midweek game with a heavily rotated squad and a guy who hasn't played a full 90 in a month. I can't believe it. This guy's terrible and he's never done anything in his entire career. And why is he on this team? It's just like, bro, chill out.
I looked at the Sounders schedule. I think they only have like 6 or 7 midweek games total this year. So like, I'm not overly concerned when we get our best 11 out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, like it was obviously heavily rotated, with 8 different people. And then I think LAFC had like 5 different non-starters out there. And it was just the opposite of when they were in Seattle.
Except Bouanga, once again, they just don't have to rotate Bouanga. They just don't have.
He doesn't rotate.
Well, he played the entire game. He was like out there when they were up by 3 goals. Still,
but when they played in Seattle, I don't think Bouanga started. I'm pretty sure he came off.
No, he didn't start that game. He did.
Yeah, he came off the bench. Yeah, no, but I mean, still, the dude's a demon. I fear him to this day.
I mean, still, even though he hasn't been as good this year, still probably more than like any player in the league.
Did we get to Jesus Ferreira takes yet?
We've done Jesus Ferreira takes a little bit.
Okay.
But go for it. Yeah, dish yours.
Yikes, guys. I think I'm going to be getting a tattoo because the fact that he couldn't settle that ball and take a shot in the perfect position, I'm cooked. I'm just going to make the appointment now because the fact he couldn't just settle that ball and even get a shot on target and then just goes...
So one of my best friends is also a huge Sounders fan, and I was all day today. I was hyping Jesus up like, he's getting his first goal today. It's happening. It's happening. I'm putting money on it. Like I live in a state where I can bet. Online sports. I'm like, it's happening.
Yep.
It did not happen.
It didn't happen. It did not.
Yeah, I'm regretting that take.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, me too. I'm right there with you.
I literally did like a 20-minute segment at the end of Under the Lights on Thursday where I was like, it hasn't been that bad, guys. All right, hasn't been that bad. It's not been great, but he's got some assists. Then that happens. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lineup here too. Ryan Kent, I don't think played that hot. I thought he came in and wasn't super effective. I don't know if we did day row content yet, but I was
I'm not
like,
gonna let this game diminish my Ryan Kent high. That's one thing.
Yeah, no, me neither. I think that they did a pretty good job at keeping him contained. They just slapped 3 people on him. Like he just didn't play well in the press.
They're also like heavily chasing the game at that point.
Sure.
So
I just think like I think it was pretty clear that like on that intense press that LAFC plays, it's like that's a little bit of a weakness for him because he doesn't have as much space and time to play with that ball. And he made some mistakes. I mean, I don't care. He played like 15 minutes. Who gives a shit? But like,
The
I think
ball.
that's
He lost the ball like one time in a way that like he hadn't yet.
Yeah.
So I thought he might just be immune to like giveaways like that. So he's not.
Yeah.
It's a valuable data point.
Yeah.
He
can do it one time.
Last week, I called Saturday, I should say. I called in and I said, I didn't think Brian Kent looked that good in the first half. I'm all for him and PDLV being on at the same time. I still stand by that. I don't think Brian Kent looked that. Obviously, he only played 15 minutes, but, I don't think he looked that good without Pedro out there. I think both of them being out there and then both of them having to be marked by multiple people just opens up the space so much for everyone else.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I do think that they play well together. And yeah, I don't know, man. This was a game. This was a game that happened. I don't know. My brain is fried, man. It's one of those I think people will be mad at right now, and then that you go and win at Portland and this game does not matter.
That's what I was trying. That's what I was saying earlier. Is like they have an opportunity to, what's the word?
Bounce back.
I was gonna say like get their sins forgiven or something like that.
Oh yeah, holy water, baptism.
They have a chance to do that if you go win this Portland game, and you go 1-1-1 on the road trip, if you win the Portland game, you go 2-1-0 on the road trip. That would honestly be a good road trip. This game would still have sucked, but that would not be a bad road trip, like results wise.
Yeah, just at least draw in Portland, man. Just get some kind of result, and I'm happy.
This felt like a momentum sapper for sure.
I feel like it didn't though. Like to me, this result was obviously. I think that the question that I can't even remember who asked it in the presser of like this game, the result didn't really look like the match itself. Like it looked like two pretty even teams, but one team taking advantage of the Sounders' rotated weaknesses, right? Like that's what it felt like to me. I think that the game got carried away at the end, absolutely, but I don't think that this was some like indictment on how they play and all of that. And it felt like, okay, like, yeah, this game, this is what's happening. This is chalked, but like, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that loss and feel like we want that game back. And you're going to go and you're going to keep your head up towards this Portland game, which seems like everyone is kind of prepared for in terms of like the mentality of it and all of that. And we know Schmetzer, that's where he's always at, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. This game is not going to bother me. And I mean, the things that I can take away from it are individual, I think. And like, I don't want to see João Paulo ever play again. And that's about it. Like everything else, whatever. John Bell had a stinker, but like, I think he's been pretty good generally speaking. So like, you know what? You're entitled to have a stinker, man. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. And Jesus Ferreira is not going to score 6 goals. So
I got a question for you. What do you think about them bringing Danny Musafi off or bringing him on in the second half? Personally, to me, with the streak and everything, I'm like, hey, might as well just like, let him rest until Portland instead of bringing him on. If you were going to bring him on, just start him for 45.
It's a classic Brian Schmetzer. He doesn't give a shit about the streak.
I was going to say, well, but I don't think he should be like making lineup decisions based on the streak. Like, honestly, I think for whatever gripes there might be about the lineup, not starting Moose and like just giving Osaze some run, I didn't mind that. I was, like I said, I wouldn't say I was hyped when I saw the lineup, but I was like intrigued.
I was like, okay,
let's see what this can do. It's one of those classic MLS situations where you have to throw out like a rotated side, and that's when you can throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. Nothing stuck in this game, but at least you tried something new, something that you didn't know about before.
You'll lose midweek away games in MLS. It just happens, man.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But getting 4-0'd is never like a good time.
No. I'm not looking positively on this, but it's like I said, it is what it is. Andy T played pretty bad. I don't know. It's just like a lot of bad individual performances led to like an exasperation or exaggeration of of the like issues that you have when you rotate. I think that's just kind of where it is.
And yeah, I don't, and again, I said this already, but like, I don't want to, this is just me personally. I don't want to fully lose sight of all the good stuff that we've seen in the last few weeks. That stuff was all real. And I think what we saw in some of those games was the like ceiling of the level this team is capable of playing at when they're on their stuff. So that's still a good thing. Ryan Kent has still done a lot of awesome stuff in his time with this team. So I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Like after every time they lose, like the brigade is coming in with the like they're still on the that Sounder at Heart article. No, you know the one I'm talking.
Oh yeah, I do know
that article like wounded them on a deeply like personal level. We didn't write that, by the way. I don't know if I think maybe
I wrote it. It was me. I'm actually Brian McKinney. I'm actually ghostwriter. It was me. I'll admit it.
You're going to be 2058. We're going to be laying down lobbing scorchers, and the brigade is still going to be talking about that article.
I don't care. Fuck them.
Well, can I leave you guys with just two more takes?
Yeah.
Head to bed because I got to work tomorrow.
You and me both.
So 3-4-3, throw it out the window. Don't bring it back. Just don't do it. I don't like this with 3 defenders. We just don't look good. And then the other one is I've been high on the free Hawkins 2025.
Yeah, Stu Hawks.
Stu Hawks did get he got mins.
But he got put on some ice skates out there.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I'm not gonna.
That was pretty funny.
I don't think that's the downfall of him, but I was very sad to see it. But I'm still free Hawks 2025.
I think I was just glad to see him out there. I'm glad they finally did it. That wasn't a great play, but like it's his first MLS game. Stu Hawks and Osaze, I'm not gonna give them anything like hard time at all. Like that's I was surprised they didn't send Stu Hawks and Osaze out for the presser.
Yeah. No, I thought that Stu Hawks, I mean, he had that one welcome to MLS moment where he gets absolutely cooked. I mean, you've got jitters, whatever. And then I thought he played fine. I thought he played good. He moved the ball forward on that one play and started to make a run. And I was like, go kid, get him the ball, score a goal, kid. I was like, I need that. But I believe in the Stu Hawks agenda. And yeah, like Osaze was getting in some good positions. We'll see, they're both like going from Next Pro to MLS. We say it all the time. It's like night and day, dude. It's not even close.
All right, guys. Well, you have a good night. I can't wait to listen to the rest of this when it comes out on the podcast.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Sammy. Thanks for calling in. We will see you this weekend, maybe? Are we doing this weekend? Whatever. Something like that.
My wife's birthday, so we missed the first half of Portland, but definitely watched the second half. So.
Well, happy birthday to her. So.
All right. Bye.
See you later. All right. We've got a special guest, Ari. We've got a special guest here.
There he is.
Bringing in from the Happy Foot, Sad Foot podcast, Darren Miller. Darren, welcome to the show.
I come in peace.
Where's your cowardly co-host?
Everyone be nice.
Travis is packing. He has to get on a plane.
For what?
Well,
I guess that we can't leak.
He's got to see
personal.
He's got to see the next game.
So, watch them lose?
I hope so. I certainly hope so. Is that something we can agree on?
Yeah, why not?
It's never happened before.
I'm an anti anyone having fun watching the NBA fan because I'm a Seattle Supersonics fan and they took my team away. And so it's like my two favorite things are watching anyone beat Oklahoma City, and the second is anyone being upset watching NBA games, because when I was 8 years old, I had months it took me to get over that heartbreak. That was my first heartbreak.
Wow. A good learning experience, though.
So
I was a Supersonics fan. I was a big Sean Kemp, Gary Payton fan.
Dude, the glove? Come on.
The glove. Oh.
Let's start it. Let's when they come back. Why don't we just start a Supersonics
We can
podcast?
start a Supersonics podcast now. We don't need them
Yeah,
to
why not?
exist anymore.
We're just gonna rewatch all the games
There's
and
plenty of
react to them.
content. They played a lot of games.
It would be really good to like you just start at game 1 that they ever played and then do one a week.
It's a
you
rewatch
know?
podcast.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
are huge right now, guys. It's a trend. Okay, let's ride the wave.
We are literally
Season 1, episode 1. Supersonics.
printing money right here.
Darren, how does Sweet Revenge taste? You know, Seattle got one on LAFC earlier this season.
Yeah.
LAFC
Yeah.
did the exact same thing to Seattle. So, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
Here
did
we
this on
go.
our podcast, but you asked. This is technically you bringing it up.
This is true.
Yeah. So I will literally tell you how it tastes. It does taste pretty good. I'm terrible at pouring this. I'm
I
just
soloed
wow.
him.
You're giving me the wow. Okay, great.
I'm giving you the honor.
It tastes pretty good.
We did
That's
the
good.
exact same thing to them first, just for context.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I don't expect anyone in the chat to like me, but you
That's
did do this on
okay.
our show, so.
We did encourage this
We
behavior.
did, and you know, I would do it. I do it. I would do
And
it.
you
again.
should do it again if you win again.
I regret
Of
nothing.
course.
Mhm.
The ground rules have been set. Well, all we can all do is follow them.
How did you enjoy the match? Was it fun or were you
It was
just like,
honestly,
yeah, okay,
I have
cool,
to
man.
say, unfortunately, it was the most enjoyable match we've had this season.
Damn.
I'm really sorry.
But but that's how we felt when we 5-2'd you. So
It's true. It's crazy how like both our teams, I would say, not known for enjoyable play.
Yeah.
I think it's a complaint. Like we've had LAFC fans complaining about how boring it can be to watch LAFC play when we win or tie this year. And yeah, the last few matches they really turned the corner, and not only have they started playing a lot better, but they've had more fun and exciting matches. So that's been fun. But it is funny how we talked about how this was like our sort of number two rivalry after El Tráfico. These games
but you
do
guys-
bring
I
out the
watched
most
the pod.
exciting version of both our teams.
I watched the pod and I had to bring up something because I saw
Okay.
1A and what holy shit, we got a $20 super chat. Hold on.
Oh my
sorry.
goodness.
This is like breaking news here, and I think we missed another one, but joining late. Get out of here, Ari. We're kicking him off because he ran to go take a poop or something.
He went to go cash that check.
Dude, did you see him run out, bro? He's hitting the PayPal.
It's like, I gotta.
He's like, I'm buying dinner, bro. He took the company card. That shit just
Like, looks,
hit
I
and he
quit.
cashed, dude. Oh
That's
my
my
God.
severance.
That's it, bro. Joining late, so apologies if I missed this. My big thing today was why wasn't Rothrock subbed for Georgie? Paul was good, but looked totally exhausted at the 50 plus. But instead, we got a CB coming in as we're chasing the game. Definitely, we'll get back to that at some point. But I wanted to read it and say thank you because that's a dime you just dropped us
Thank you,
right there.
Bernardo.
So
Appreciate you.
Bernardo, my go. Okay. Anyway, back to my actual gripe here.
Okay.
With the podcast, which I do listen to all the episodes, by the
I
way.
appreciate that very much.
I love the show.
I'm a big fan of your show.
Mainly for the listener mandated banter. That's my that's me.
Really? Oh my goodness. We keep looking for reasons to drop it, and every time we're like, maybe we should just stop doing it. Someone's like,
can't.
I kind of like it.
Kind of like it. But I heard secondary rivalries.
Yeah.
1A, 1B,
Uh-huh.
Seattle and Portland.
Yeah.
You guys have rivals with Portland?
What'd you ask? We are. You're
Yeah, like you're
questioning that we
rivals with
are.
Portland? Like yeah, like what?
It feels a little like a leftover thing at this point. I feel
Like
like
not even San Jose?
San Jose has tried to act like we're rivals since LAFC came into the league. It's like not really a thing. Yeah, we've had some very intense matchups with Portland over the years. Not as much in recent seasons, and I think Portland has kind of just objectively become a lot less interesting as a team the last couple of seasons.
Thank you, Phil Neville.
Yeah. The Phil Neville era of any team has been a little bit lacking.
I don't know. I loved the Phil Neville Inter Miami cheating scandal. That was personally one of my favorite things to ever come out of MLS.
Phil Neville post-game press conferences go pretty crazy.
So good, dude. We were watching him because we went to the Open Cup game where they played our second team and almost lost, and we both of us were just beaming down, looking at Phil Neville pacing the touchline, just crashing out. It was incredible. I love that man.
Yeah, he's something. Yeah, I think they were a natural rival given how the games went our first few seasons and the proximity, which obviously plays into your rivalry with them. But yeah, obviously it's not quite the same.
No, it's cool. We can dap up on that. We can be like, okay, because like.
Yeah, we certainly
We
hate
both hate
them
them.
in a way that is a little bit more than other teams. Like
Yeah.
I would say that on the podcast we mentioned that Seattle has sort of surpassed them as our second rival, but that's happened. That I feel like that happened a while ago.
Right. Has
Like,
there
it's
been
been a few
any
years.
Has there been any movement on San Diego? Do you feel any kind of way about them?
There was a lot of talk about whether or not they would be a rival. They're closer than any other team.
Mm-hmm.
They're, what, 5 minutes from Carson? So
Yeah.
maybe they're better rivals. Yeah, we had. I was of the mind when people started talking about it that like you can't manufacture these things. It has to be in how the game goes, and it was a good game for the beginning of a rivalry. Plus, there was some like insane, fucked up fan activity after the match outside the stadium. So, not that I would like for that to be part of it, but that does contribute to the makings of. I think the potential is there in a way that I would say was not there necessarily inherently. It
Yeah,
feels
I
a
hear
little
that.
tired to be like, it's a rivalry. We haven't played a game yet at all. Like, fuck
Right.
you. But now, yeah, that first match was like, okay. And they're, I don't know. The last few years, an MLS expansion team is just like, there's this weird beginner's luck thing happening.
Yeah. Well, I say all of that to ask because I want you to revisit that list right now. You're popping champagne. You're feeling
Sure.
good.
At this point, I'm just drinking it
We
'cause it's
both
a
just had the best games of our seasons, right? Like,
Okay.
does that not feel even pushing one?
Oh,
Is it pushing? Is
the
it pushing at
Seattle
all?
LAFC rivalry?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think in a world where El Tráfico doesn't exist, it's still like Seattle LAFC rivalry is still better than most rivalries in the league.
True.
But the hate runs deep for El Tráfico.
It is a
we're
good
not
rivalry.
doing any collabs with any Galaxy podcasts. Okay.
Well, I mean, we were a Galaxy podcast.
We're
last
like a
season.
different kind of Galaxy podcast now. Like last
Yeah.
year, it was like this team is sick and we enjoy watching it, and this year it's like, this team is
Schadenfreude.
the worst team I've ever seen.
I mean, are you doing like post game shows after Galaxy games?
We should.
Low key, last year we were like almost at that.
Yeah, we were riding. We were on that thing. Matt Sexton asks, this guy is by far the best lad on Happy Foot Sad Foot.
Oh my
Should
goodness.
be a NYFC / Red Bulls guy from his East Coast vibe. Makes Happy Foot Sad Foot so much better as the funny / vibes man.
My God, Matt, thank you so much. Just genuinely, I wish I had a funny retort, but I really appreciate it.
See, we just have sweethearts in our community.
Yeah.
Also, we're bringing you back on because apparently this shit's just like OnlyFans when you're on here, dude. We got a $20 dono and a $5 dono. What the hell?
We do have a bit of a weird running gag that I'd rather not have on our show of people referring to the name of our show and asking for foot pics.
How, does that happen?
Would rather that not happen. There have been times where people joke about it in a way that's like, I would like you to be 100% joking, and it feels more like 80%, and that's too much.
They're
Or
like,
that's not enough.
wait, but I thought this Patreon was something else.
Yeah,
You know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Ari, I've dominated this conversation. Do you want to actually ask some real questions?
Keep dominating because I'm
I don't know that I'm
multitasking.
capable of answering real questions.
Well, good, because I'm not capable of asking them. Who would you give man of the match to on either of the teams? I'll go first. Number one for me is Kalani Kosarienzi, the wing back. I thought he played insane, and I thought he pocketed Denny Bwanga pretty damn well up until the end there. And that's a tall task.
Best keeper on the team.
Yeah.
Mine is David Martinez because that goal that he scored that got waved off. That kid is like,
He's so
the
good,
one
dude.
he's so good. The one he scored in Seattle was one of the best MLS goals I've seen all season. And then that one was one of the best like MLS goals I've seen all season. That it didn't count, but I think is it you guys who have the like if it's cool, you should be
Yes,
allowed
we
to be
have
outside?
Vince LaRosa on our podcast did coin the rule that we stand by very strictly on our show. If it's cool, it counts.
Exactly. Like you should be permitted like a few inches offside if you score a goal that cool. But like in all seriousness, like that kid, some of the stuff he does out there, I'm just like, holy wow.
Yeah, everyone's really excited about him. He's a really interesting player to watch because he's very young and the ceiling is so clearly so high. But he plays his age. Like it's a little volatile, it's a little bit inconsistent, and so it's possible you'll get a side of him that's like he kind of crashes out, or he doesn't have 90 in him, or he gets a yellow, like a stupid yellow. That's happening a little bit less than it used to.
He's 19. It sounds similar.
But at his best right now, you're like, holy shit, this guy's the future.
I mean, you guys are going to sell him for an insane bag.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be.
I don't know.
He can't be long.
Yeah,
he cannot be long for this league.
That's the biggest. I don't want to get into like Tam and Gam and all that shit, but like, that's what's frustrating about MLS is when you do get young guys who are like, hey, finally we're developing some players, which LAFC is certainly not known for. It's like, well,
you've only been around like 4 years.
Sure, but we've had some attempts.
But I mean, like the Sounders didn't start developing an actual genuine crop of young players until like 5 years ago.
Well,
like
nice
it takes
encouraging.
If you want to listen to our interview with Henry Bronner, he talks about that.
I do because he's not like a homegrown through the academy.
Yeah, that's true.
No, yeah. But it's nice to have a young guy playing that well. It's just frustrating when it's like what I would love to see is like a group of guys who can stick together for a few years and like the team is the team. I mean, Seattle's done a great job of that. For all the shit you guys took about not making moves last year in the offseason, and then you also had not a great start. We were like, fuck you, we're Seattle, we can pull this together. We've been doing this for a while. I want that.
Yeah, you'll get there. And it's easier to recruit people when you have a beautiful city to recruit them to.
Yes.
We gotta snipe the kids in
time with
Alaska, bro. We gotta get the kids in Alaska. Like No hate though. We got the Vargas brothers.
That's true. Are you guys recruiting in the San Juan Islands or?
I don't think
Anybody
there's
out there?
much talent out there.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know. I'm not
Deer,
sure.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, like Vancouver Island, does that count as like the Whitecaps territory? I feel
It's like your
could-
version of San Diego being like close enough to the border to be able to recruit for Mexico.
Ooh, they might start to cook. They might
Honestly, I am a little bit worried about them. I'll say. For sure.
Henry Wingo forgotten SMH. Sorry, this is Henry Wingo erasure.
Hank. Got a Hank name drop.
Yeah, and then anyway, Ari, continue. Sorry, I'm fading here. I may need to head out soon, but
I wasn't saying. I was just talking about Henry Wingo.
Oh, bro, I'm cooked. It was all that vodka I downed on your guys' stream.
Darren, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Obviously,
Kick me off whenever makes sense for your show.
Big win for LAFC, but you've got an El Trafico under kind of funny circumstances because you know it's El Trafico, but this Galaxy team is off to the worst start of all time in MLS.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
Like with the knowledge that El Trafico form like that kind of goes out the window, but like, do you feel like it's almost more pressure on LAFC because it's like, what if you lose to this?
I think I was saying this on our show. I don't know that I think I might be in the minority here. I feel a little bit less pressure because I feel like the form that we're in right now, I feel like we should be able to maintain momentum even if something goes wrong. And because I feel like everything goes out the window for El Trafico, I don't expect I'm terrified. I'm terrified every time we play them. Like it's terrifying. I hate watching them. It's incredibly stressful. when the game ends, if we win, Travis said this on our show, if we win, it's a relief. And if we lose, it's the worst thing in the world. There's no like joy in any of that. And that's not in any way different given both teams' forms because they don't apply. That said, I think our form is good enough that like it's a very real possibility. Like it's just truly 50-50 every time we meet them. And if we don't win, then it's like, yeah, that's El Tráfico. And then I feel like we should be able to move on from that in a way that would be harder in previous seasons. Like there's a hangover effect that I feel like might hopefully wouldn't be there this time in the same way it has been in the past. What I am dreading is that not only do they beat us, but it's like the game that turns their season around.
I was just going to say
exactly like what's going to happen. Like it's a little too scripted, but
yeah. Well, and you've seen the Galaxy. Will Kuntz has been doing a fucking press tour, media apparently, dude.
He is really. He's got
what is he
a man about
doing?
Town, he's a man about town.
I mean, I guess if my job is on a hot seat,
I kind of respect that. Just put him out there, let him explain what's going on. But no, it would be.
He's not even doing that. He's going.
He's not. Yeah, he's just like, yeah, guys.
He's
I'm
like, yo,
out.
the Knicks. I like the Knicks. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Season-ending injury, Ricky Puig, and figure your roster out, bro. Like, I'm sorry, you're an idiot.
It would be it would be so Galaxy for them to just like come out and win El Tráfico under these circumstances.
What if that's the only game they win all year?
With like it being like a get right for their season. It's the exact same thing that the Portland Timbies do every goddamn year against Seattle. Oh yeah, every game against Seattle, it's always like coming off of a tough loss or like a tough run of form, and they're like, all right, well, we got the Seattle game and we're just going to use this.
This is our Super Bowl.
And then they come out in the Sounders game and they look like Real Madrid. They look like the greatest team I've ever seen every year, and they dominated the rivalry for like 3 years, 2-3 years off that.
Yeah.
And and the storyline would always be Gio would be like, now our season's gonna get kick into gear, and then they might like win one more game, and then they would just tank again.
Yeah, it's great, and it's MLS, right? Like you guys know, last season this happened to both our teams. I think we're pushing the envelope for like how long you can be bad and still be fine in the playoffs. We're a quarter and change into the season, like.
I don't think they're making the playoffs.
I gotta say, like, obviously Ricky Puig is by far their best player, but they've got good guys. Like, there's guys back from injury now. I don't understand why they're still losing as much as they are.
That's what I'm saying.
It was
like,
so
if
funny
they
watching their game against Philly tonight because they went up 2-0. We were literally talking on the editorial desk. We're like, we're probably gonna have to do the Galaxy get their first win, and I actually was literally saying, I was like, we're not gonna have to do that. Like, I know they're up 2 goals, but like, I guarantee you, we're not gonna have to do that. And
it is Philly.
They give away the 2-0 to be a 2-2, and you just knew that they were gonna give up the winner. Like,
that's insane. Yeah, I didn't watch it, but that's insane. Like, well, how do you feel about the like? I don't know if they did that this game, but like, obviously, I'm not a Greg Vanny fan, but I think he's a real shithead. What do you think about the call to like trot his guys out and like, I guess give them a little talking to on the pitch after the game, the last game? Did you see that?
It feels so.
He's pulling out all the stops.
He did a little performative, like, that was bad, guys.
I literally, the next step for him is what there's the Rowdies, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. My friend's a huge Tampa Bay Rowdies fan in the USL. They're so bad that the coach, after like a 3-0 loss, walked over to the supporter section and just started asking for advice. He was just like, I don't know, guys, like, what do you think? And I'm just like, bro, what?
Honestly, a team name like Rowdies, that's a permanent win. It's tough to beat that.
No, they're incredible, and their logo is amazing.
Happens. Yeah, that's the best.
But yeah, I think they might be. If they lose this game, I think they just they're spooning.
We're talking about the Rowdies, right?
Oh no, the Galaxy.
Yeah,
but Rowdies too.
Yeah, I really don't. Obviously I hate the Galaxy, and their fans are insane. And like
G's
I
up.
try to
Whoa,
do
whoa, whoa,
banter
whoa,
with
whoa!
them
Don't
through-
talk about Eli Lesser like that, bro.
He's nice. But there's a lot of people online who talk trash, and it's like, well, this will be fun. Let's just have some like, let's talk trash. Let's
Yeah.
you know, and it always goes in a way that's like, I'm always so confused at the end of it. There's like a weird, like, strange childishness to it. I don't know. You never know how old the people are that you're arguing with on the internet. Anyway, I don't understand. I as much as I like they're a bitter rival, I truly like am so confused by them. Because yes, they won MLS Cup last year, and the year before that, they were protesting to fire the coach and the GM.
They might need to do that.
Like
again.
they were so bad, and then they were like, "Oh, I guess we'll just win the MLS Cup," and then right back into the bottom of the barrel. Like I truly don't understand it.
Will Kuntz just wanted to start his podcast career.
Maybe.
Well, Darren, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. And shill. What do you got to shill?
Yeah. We're happy with Seth. We check out our show. We talk about LAFC. We talk about a lot of other stuff too. We kind of just shoot the shit. We're big fans of these guys. Yeah, check us out. Come in and talk trash. We welcome fans of other teams coming into our post-game live streams and hating us. Everyone's welcome. It's fine.
It's good content.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Darren. We
Thanks for
love the
having me.
show, and we
You guys are
love
the
you,
best.
fellas.
We love you
Mwah.
guys. Take
Kisses.
care.
Goodbye. Okay, all right. Let's go through these. We've got some other callers, but I wanted to hit these super chats, and then I have to go. I really need to go to bed. My girlfriend's gonna kill me if I don't get
It's all
going.
good. I'll stay on and close it out.
Perfect. Okay, let's super chat run this really quick though. Didn't get to watch, but put it out there. God, I can't read. Ari, it's over for me. Didn't get to watch, but put it out there. Too much pre-batch that we were cooked with a back line of J-Bill, Nuhu, Andy, Steph / Jackson / Cam equal stability. Everything in front, understandably rotated. Did you feel cooked with that back line coming out of the lineup?
No, I didn't feel cooked in general. I think with the benefit of hindsight, I probably should have felt more cooked, but I just think that things had actually been going so well lately that I was like, all right, who cares if they're rotated?
Yeah.
Go get a win, you know. That's sort of, I don't know if I wasn't like
that's how I felt too.
I wasn't quite that hype, but I definitely I didn't feel cooked by any of it looking at the 11. Perhaps I should have.
I felt fine too. I felt like it was a good choice to rotate midweek, and like, what are you going to do? These are players who need to get minutes anyway in competitive competitions, and you've already shown that you can bam on them in a previous match with rotated lineup. So I would have made the same decision, honestly, if I was Brian Schmetzer. So what are you going to do? You lose some games. It happens. This next one is joining late, so apologies if I missed this. My big thing today was, why was Rothrock not subbed for Georgie? Paul was good, but looked totally exhausted at 50 plus. But instead, we got a CB coming in, and we were chasing the game. So it did seem like that was a pre-planned sub, which I don't like those. But yeah, what did you think about that? I thought Rothrock played fine.
Yeah, I feel like it. He was actually one of the only players playing well, at least in the first half, and it really didn't like fully get away until late. Like with it being 2-0, if you have a guy who's looks like your most dangerous player, which I think it's fair to say that Rothrock did in this game, then that I imagine that like went into the thinking behind it. But I mean, with how that stretch run of that game went, that might not have been the right call, but that's probably like the best I can.
That fell, but sometimes you just got to hedge, you know,
on the logic.
Yep. All right. My whole set is crashing down, Ari. I don't know what to do, but thank you, chat, for having me. Sorry I faded so quick. I've been working since 7 a.m, so I'm ready to go to bed. But Ari, close us out. I see 2 callers.
Yeah.
Love you, chat.
Got these last 2.
L-Pod. See you for L
pod.
pod.
We've done a couple of emphatic dub pods last couple weeks, so now it's an emphatic L pod. That's
exactly.
All
right.
All right.
Bye, chat.
Night, man. All right. Got a couple more in the queue to close us out here. So I'm gonna hit these guys and then we'll call it a night. Thank you to everyone for tuning in despite a dispiriting result. But that's the thing, like we're here no matter what the result is. I mean, you think we're not gonna do the post game live just because they lost 4-0? Hell no. All right, Hunch, about to add you to the stage right here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I got you. How you feeling, man? 4-0 at LAFC.
Did not expect 4-0. Minimum, I was hoping for a tie, a draw.
I would have loved to draw.
Yeah. Let me ask, where do you feel the turning point in the game was? Like, where did it go from possibility to impossibility?
Danny Leyva and Paul Rothrock both kind of pointed to the second goal. I kind of agree. Like, honestly, as long as it was 1-0,
yep.
I really didn't feel that that chalked about it until 2-0. When it was 1-0 at the half, I was actually still feeling okay. Like, I felt like they weren't defending that well in the first half, but they did manage to keep it to 1-0, and they actually did have some like genuinely good chances off of those set pieces, I thought. So at around halftime, I was like, they're still in this for a result, even though it's not going super great. And then once the second goal came, I was like, this one's probably dusted. And then it was
problematic.
What about you?
Yeah, no, it was 100%. You go into halftime down 1. The directive should have been come out, get a goal, and let's see what we get.
Yeah.
I don't think that the coordination of the substitutions, at least with the order that they existed in, was appropriate if that was what you want to manufacture. And I'll go back further. I think it was 2 years ago, because I don't believe it was last year. When we went down to Austin, and we played like, what was it, 5 teenagers in that match? Yeah.
And
then we brought Rui on, and he took a shot from basically midfield. We won 1-0.
One of my favorite goals in club history, honestly.
100%. But that's forecasted and formulaic and strategic of, we are going to put certain players out there. One, they're going to be motivated because, oh my God, this is their first start, and they're against somebody who really, one, would want to beat them, and two, is no slouch. And at that time, Austin, not in current form, was exactly that. LAFC is no joke. They just played Vancouver, though, and went 1-1.
2-2, I think, but yeah.
Oh, was it 2-2?
Yeah.
It was a draw, either way. If our goal was minimum draw, maximum loss, I don't understand the strategy of the order of the substitutions here in terms of, would you not rest more people more, or bring people off in terms of avoiding injury / red cards in terms of your substitutions once it was, I mean, if that was just the goal, hey, we'll take a loss, draw at the minimum. But two, like, why you wouldn't prevent or promote specific players, especially younger players. I mean, I get the chemistry composition in terms of going into this match, like we were definitely rotated, and you didn't have cohesion in your back to mid to front. But with the number of players that we had on there was still enough quality to do that, and with the right substitutions going early, which Kim coming in at halftime, that showed that there was a presence of, okay, well, we can make some minor or a few adjustments here to promote cohesion and bring quality on without exhausting ahead of Portland. And it just didn't feel like that was done in a formulaic process in order to like even put us into the game. And then more importantly, I think once it was out of hand, it felt like some of the subs were just awkward. Like JP was a hole this whole game. And let me go to a positive. Leyva, I think, had a great game. Ozaze was on point, but he didn't get the service he needed. Nuhu actually had an okay game, not a great game, but he wasn't connected. And if you had brought on Kent a little bit earlier, I think we could have seen something a little bit better. And I really think we needed to have Vargas on early, probably for JP, to provide that cohesion from back to front. But it got out of hand, and it didn't feel like we actually took advantage of the fact it's like, okay, this one's over. Let's rest some people and let's prevent injuries in Reds. But that's my perspective.
Yeah, it felt like at a 2-0 they were still kind of they were still going for it. I think that was the score. Maybe was that the score when like Rusnak came on and
yeah. So the only sub we had on up till from between 1-0 and 2-0, it was only oddly enough Yamar for Kim, and I think a lot of people would have thought it would have been Bell for Kim, with a later sub if we had gotten control of the game with Yamar. Who that would have been, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, the other subs it's like we were waiting to go down 2-0, 3-0 before we made the other subs. It felt like we were just sort of baiting that.
Yeah, it's tough because there was a period of the game where they were in striking distance, but it still kind of felt chalked. I'm sure the way they were thinking of it was like, if we get one goal here, maybe we're back in the game, and then it gets away from them late. So.
Especially when it was only one goal ahead. Let me ask you, and I would have loved to ask both of you, what is the most important aspect of what happened in this game? Overall, take it in its overall, like how we started, how we performed, and how it ended. What is the most important thing that happened, or that this game provided to us?
I think the two things I would say are that, like you need to be able to like compete for a result in a game like this, and I felt like for a lot of the game they were. It's not like they got totally ran out of the building the entire game. But the fact that they were in a situation where they had to rotate like this, and then this is how the game went, and it's the second time a similar thing has happened this season with what happened in San Diego. Yeah,
but you know, so that's just like a -7 goal differential. That's not
exactly. So that's like a not good takeaway, and something that we'll hopefully see improve over the
but big picture
of the season, but and then
what matters
also
most.
the step back, I would say, of Ferreira was like
okay.
I feel like there had actually been progress there, like in the Nashville game and other games after his kind of tough start to the season. And then this looked like the San Diego game or the St. Louis game for him.
So what I would say is what matters most about this match is actually the conclusion of the next match. It does not matter what happens here if the next one is at least a victory or a draw that feels like a victory.
I definitely.
If the next one's a loss, this is a travesty today.
That's the thing. It ups the pressure, without a doubt. Hunch, I got a couple more in the queue here, but
last thing.
Yeah.
I'm big on Jesus. We're playing him out of position. He is somebody who wants to roam. He wants to be a Nico that can move forward when he sees lightning and wants to strike. Putting him up top, putting him in the wing doesn't do any favors. I'm still big on him. I hope to see the most out of him.
Love it. Hunch, thank you for the call. As always, appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you probably on Saturday. I think we're gonna do a post game live from Portland, hopefully. So take care.
Thank you.
All right, got a couple more here to close it out. Probably gonna cap it at these two. It's getting late, and I'm ready to go to bed. I don't know about you guys. We got Chad up next. Chad, if you can hear me, give me the thumbs up. I'll bring you on the stage. All right, you are on. How is it going, Chad? How are you feeling after this LAFC? Oh, you're on mute. Wait. Chad, you're on mute, brother. I can't hear. Can you guys hear him? I can't hear you. All right. Yeah, I couldn't hear you at all. Maybe try and tap back in, and then I'll get you after this next caller. Bernardo, can you hear me? Give me the thumbs up, and I will bring you on stage. Bernardo.
Hey, Ari. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
I can hear you. How's it going, man? How are you feeling after an admittedly tough L at LAFC?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired. It's late out here. I'm in Texas, so it's like 1:30 a.m. I have to tell you, I have felt much worse in draws that we've had because we suffered a beating, from the scoreline, but it doesn't emotionally feel like a loss, or at least not like a bad one, which is kind of bizarre. I was a little bit annoyed that 2 out of our 5 subs were center backs, and that played in my super chat. But I actually wanted to hear from you what you thought of JP and Leyva's performance today in the center, because that was to me something that I was really trying to look out for to see how they performed.
Yeah, I think it is a really important thing to look out for because that's the look they run when they need to rotate or rest Christian and Obed, which has been an elite double pivot in recent weeks. And I was getting to this earlier, but then I think the pressers started. I felt like the double pivot held its own in the first half. Wasn't amazing, but they did enough to get the game or keep the game within 1 goal. And Danny Leyva had a great chance on that set piece. That was only a couple inches from going in. So I think that the first half, it was okay. It was like good enough to keep them in striking distance of a result, which I feel like that's all you can ask in this type of situation. And then I think in the second half, the wheels came off, especially like late in the game when LAFC started running on him. I don't. It's kind of hard to say how much of that is attributed to the double pivot and how much of it was just everyone on the field not playing up to par. But I will tell you, like, when a game looks like that and one team is running over the other like that, pretty much 100% of the time, it's because that exact area of the midfield got ran on. And I think that is what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a hard time deciding at first what I thought, but I kind of had the same conclusion as you at the end, which is like, well, when, if we were playing well, it'd probably also be in large part in credit to those two. I did feel like JP, it looked like, I'm Brazilian, so I'm a big fan of JP's personally. And I did feel like it looked like it took him a little bit of time to kind of get into the game. And I don't know if that's just because he hasn't played for a while. I personally just felt like it was almost like as if he didn't have his warm-up, like the first 10, 15 minutes of the game were his warm-up. So I felt like that was lacking a little bit. And then at the end, I mean, I thought JP looked a little bit tired. I thought he was playing well, like in the milieu of the game. But towards the end, and that's also maybe just from chasing the game because we were down, right? Everybody was getting kind of tired. But yeah, I don't know. I hope to see them get more time, like rotationally, just so that maybe they can keep their sharpness.
Yeah, and they've gotten some run earlier this year, and I feel like if anything, going into this game, the storyline around that double pivot when they have played this year is that it's looked pretty good. For the most part, I don't know. Was that what they were running in San Diego? Or no, in San Diego they were running Christian Obed.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
so,
famously Christian's down game.
Exactly. That was the game where people were talking about his downfall or whatever, and then he proceeded to rattle off like the most insane 5-game stretch of his career. Which I hope this doesn't. It's all going to come down to the Portland game, but I'm hoping this doesn't overshadow the good stuff that we've seen leading up to this game, because there was a lot of good stuff. There actually legitimately was. I don't think that's cope. Is that cope?
I don't think
playing
so.
well before this.
I mean, my first thing I said to you was I don't even feel that bad, right? Because we have banked positive feelings from the way we've been playing, and the commentators kept repeating oh, Seattle 8 changes. So it's almost like the commentators are trying to give us a pass, oh, this is Seattle B, not Seattle A, which I don't really feel that way. I think Seattle B is capable of winning too, but you know, I don't feel that bad. I think, yeah, Portland is really going to decide how I look at this week.
Any time you have a lineup rotated this heavily that gets beat this bad, you can always cope by saying, oh well, we were rotated. But like, I think that only goes so far, like in a situation where you get 4-0'd, you know.
Yeah.
I just wanted them to like compete and give themselves a chance at taking a result in this game. That was basically my hope for this game, given the circumstances, given the fixture congestion, given the rotation. So I think that's why it was a letdown to see him get run on at the end and really just not defend well the whole night.
Yeah, when defensive cohesion was out the window at the end, and I don't know if that's because of 2 out of the 3 subs or 2 out of the 3 center backs being subbed, right? Maybe that's tough to like stay on the same page. But yeah, I keep thinking about what the previous caller said about that game in Austin. I was actually at that game because I live in Austin, and it was awesome, where we had like all these teenagers and we cooked them, and I could like brag on all my friends and be like, see, like, Seattle's Academy beat y'all's first team.
Yep.
And so like I always have that belief, that we, our rotated team can win. And today, up until maybe like the 60th minute, I legitimately thought we were going to win because I was like, well, Brian just pulls a trap card. He brings on Ryan Kent, brings on Rusnak, brings on Musovsky, and then, the game is going to be totally flipped. Now, it didn't go that way, but I still have faith in this team.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any reason not to, just because of this game. But really, like a lot of narratives are going to be formed based on what happens this weekend. This game was always just a stepping stone to the real show in Portland on Saturday. So hopefully they can bounce back in that game. Bernardo, I got one last caller behind you, but any last thoughts or takes coming off this game and heading into Portland? And also, thank you so much for the super chat earlier. I missed that, but appreciate you, man.
No, of course. Just thank you for the show. Thank you for having me. It was nice talking.
No takes? No last takes?
Honestly, I you let me say everything I wanted to say, and I had my super chats where I, complained about the subs I was annoyed about, had my little question about the midfield pivot. Like, no, I think we'll win this weekend. How about that? I predict that we'll win this weekend. I don't know who's going to be in the lineup, who's going to be starting, who's going to come on, but I think we'll win.
Love it. Thanks, Bernardo. Take care, man. Appreciate you. All right. We're going to try Chad again. Chad, if you can hear me, hit me with the thumbs up. Got the thumbs up.
Can you hear me?
I got you now. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. All right. I know you guys think that I'm crashing out. Look, I've been to just the LA games right now because that's all I can go to. I go to the Galaxy. I go to LAFC. But man, this one was a little rougher than normal.
Oh, you had to watch that in person.
Oh, I get to. Yeah, it's a little rougher than normal. I'll tell you that much. But look, let me tell you, like, going to those and experiencing them in person, maybe it's a little different than, not getting to see them at Lumen Field and seeing a home team crowd. But man, this was rough. This one was
a
little past due. Look, I know I'm a little critical of, you guys have heard me talk about Ferreira here and there, and maybe Leyva a little bit too much, but from Ferreira, I just don't think we're getting our value for him. That's what I'm coming from. And that's what I want to hear, what your guys' opinion on him is.
Yeah, I mean, I did a whole spiel on this on one of my last shows, but my take before this game is pretty similar to what I think it still is, which is that I feel like his time on the team so far has been more of a mixed bag than like a total like bust or failure. I think that he looked good at the start of Champions League when he was playing, especially like when he was combining with Paul.
Yeah, sure.
So that I was actually encouraged by how it all started with that. But then Areola goes down, and there were some definitely games. There's just been these games like the game tonight where it just looks like it's just not there. The whatever I don't. It's tough to pinpoint exactly what the issue is in these games. That's I don't know. That's kind of above my pay grade, but like there's definitely been those games where it's just looked disjointed and the cohesion's not there. It looks like he hasn't figured out his role on this team yet. But then you also had the Nashville game where he had 2 primary assists, and really I think that was his best game probably. Like outside of just the assists, I thought he was playing well. That's the most like consistently dangerous he's looked probably. And then there's been other individual good moments as well. The KKR assist comes to mind. It's all as a facilitator. So like that's one thing right there. That's like you said, not getting your value if he's not scoring the goals.
Oh, so you do remember me, Ari?
Well, you just said that just now.
Oh, all right, for sure. But no, honestly, like I think the value out of him is just not what we're getting. Like, what is he, a $2.3 million player, and we're not getting half as much as what we get out of Kent or even Leyva, he's not even up there in the millions. He's out there in the 100Ks, and he's still, putting in his shift and not doing what we expect out of him. But it's just hard to stay up on him. It's just this Ferreira is just, man, I watch him play. I want him to do well, and it's just not happening for us. And I think, look, I don't know what it takes for him to do well. I wish, Kent would be the game changer, but I think Kent is the guy who's going to replace him. If we had to take away his pay grade or his pay to pay for Kent, that's what we'd have to do, because honestly, at the end of the season, when we don't have the money to pay for one of the two, who's going to go,
Yeah, I mean that's going to be interesting to see, like if they're able to keep Ryan Kent and the maneuvering they would have to do to keep him, because you're right. Like I don't think it's not necessarily a choice between him and Ferreira, but it's a choice between him and
the highest paid player, right?
Other players. I think one thing to remember about Ferreira is, at least like they were able to get him on the team below the DP threshold. So sure. I think it would be a lot worse of a situation if he was a DP and things were not clicking to this degree. I think luckily you brought Ryan Kent in, who's looked awesome so far. De La Vega has looked better this year. Rusnak for for whatever people want to say about him, he's got 8 goal contributions on the year. So
honestly, I can't even fault Rusnak. His contributions has been one of the best at this point, and as much as I think maybe he's not DP worthy, he has been DP worthy for this team. But all the other two, I don't think they're putting in their fair shift.
Yeah, and I mean I think the bottom line with Ferreira is that he needs to start scoring goals. And just looking consistently more dangerous at this point, I would take that.
That's it.
Yeah, like whether the goals go in or he's only the assist guy or whatever, we all just want to see him consistently contributing to the offense, to this team's attack, and to this team being dangerous. So I think it definitely is not there yet to the degree that any of us would have hoped. But there's still 2/3 of the season left. Hopefully it gets better, but I'm not going to lie. Like seeing how the game went tonight, it was a little discouraging on that whole front. Like I feel you on that.
And look, I'm a big Paul Rothrock fan. That's like my guy right now, but like to have a half what would you call him, TAM player like Ferreira, and just not contribute in the least in this game, and Paul give his heart like to make this game work for him, it's just so discouraging. It just looks like Ferreira is just not trying to, be a contributor. And it's
I think he is trying. Like I don't know if I think that effort is the issue. It just seems like, I don't know, the best I can theorize it on is like it's been a storyline through his career in FC Dallas that he's a very like specialized type player. Like his skill set is very unique to him, and so it seems like fitting him into any team, but especially a new team, it must just be a lot more difficult than maybe your customary player that you're trying to fit in, because it has been interesting to watch how Ryan Kent got here and he's just immediately like
simple.
looking incredible. Looks like he's been playing with Obed and Nuhu and everyone for the last
For his whole career.
like seeing that, and then watching how like Ferreira just still hasn't like
clicked
found
at
the top
all.
tier. It's like but like I know he's talented. That's the thing.
Well, I'm not putting his talent by him, but it's just like, who are you talented with? What do you need to succeed? Like
Yeah.
what do we need to give you to succeed in your role? What do you want?
I mean, that's what the coaches got to figure out. And
Oh, definitely Brian. But that's why I think he fell out of sync with Brian too. He hasn't been starting, which maybe that's attributed to his injury, but it's just like, you start this midweek game against a team that we beat pretty bad in the first meeting, but now we're just getting thrashed, and it's been a little embarrassing to be honest. And
anytime you get 4-0'd, it feels like that. I do when I'm in these situations after a result like this, I try to just remember that pretty much every MLS season that I've ever followed or been a part of, you have a few of these sprinkled in there. Like no one is immune to the realities of MLS except the Vancouver Whitecaps, apparently.
Oh, apparently, man, those guys are insane.
Apparently they can just be exempt from that. But like even I think a good example is like Inter Miami, Messi and the Barca boys literally set the point last year. They had a game at Cincinnati last year exactly like this. They were rotated. It was all their kids. The Barca boys were not out there, and they lost 6-1. So that's actually even worse than this scoreline. So that does happen. And is that cope? Yeah, but that's what we're doing here. We're coping.
Yeah, I mean, we need something to hang on to. And honestly, I think this next game against Portland is going to be the real decider of whether, you guys think I'm crashing out on this game, and maybe I am, honestly. But especially going to this game, it's just hard to cope, man. It's just hard to cope with this loss.
A 4-0 is just never like if they had lost that 1-0 and it was like a gritty, hard
I would have been there.
Game, I would be like, all right, whatever. That's whatever. It's fine. But like a 4-0, it's like, it's tough.
Oh God.
Bernardo is asking where you're based out of in Cali.
I'm from Rancho Cucamonga. You ever heard of Friday After Next or whatever
No, I got nothing on that reference, but I do know what I do know what you're talking about.
Friday. Just go with Friday. It's close enough.
All right. Well, Chad, I'm about to wrap it up here, but you got any non-Ferreira or just general Sounders take or more Ferreira takes before we get out of here?
Not Ferreira. Ferreira's not my guy, but I love Paul Rothrock. I've been a big fan of him since last season. I think I'm real big on Paul Rothrock, and so is my girlfriend, but Paul Rothrock's my dude.
Oh, you're on the right show for the Paul Rothrock praise, because
love that fool.
We are big fans as well. And really I thought he was kind of cooking in the first half.
I thought he was great, but he had no one to work with that whole. And I'm not going to put that on Ozaze because he's fairly new to MLS, but I can't say if Danny Musowski was there we would have done any better. But Paul works his ass off every game.
I think if you had the same 11 that they've been running as their first choice 11, this game is a lot more competitive, but you just
True,
couldn't
but
do
I'd
that.
rather put that out against Portland.
Exactly. So maybe that's just it's probably the lump that they had to take to be able to field the strongest team possible against Portland. But I guess my final thought on it would be that what I really want to see from this for the rest of the season is when this type of situation comes up again, which it will. There's going to be fixture congestion. They're going to have to rotate. They're going to have to play lineups like that again. Just compete. True. Give yourself a chance to take a point in a game like this, which is something that
or don't get embarrassed.
And they should be able to do with this roster. Like, I think this roster, even if it's not as great as we were all hoping or touting it to be, it's good enough to not have a 4-0 in a game like this. It is
true. I think when they say raising your floor is better than raising your ceiling, this is the game that you're talking about, and I don't think we really showed it there.
Yeah, agreed. Well, Chad, thanks for the call, man. You weren't crashing out. You're fine.
Of course, I'm always crashing out.
You're good. Thanks for calling in, and maybe talk to you on Saturday after more. After
I would love to.
Results at the Timbies.
All right, I love your takes, though.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Have a good one. All right, folks. I'm going to call it right there. A 2-hour stream after 4OL. You know, that's how dedicated we are to the content here. Like the video, please. If you haven't already, like the video, sub to the channel, rate 5 stars, all platforms, write us reviews. We're gonna have we're gonna have more content coming out before this Portland match. I'm gonna be back live tomorrow night for Under the Lights, and I actually have a really cool interview lined up for that one. I'm not going to reveal who it is yet, but you guys are going to want to see it. I'm going to have to I'm recording it in the morning, and I'm going to play it on Under the Lights, so it won't be live, but I think you guys are going to like it. So definitely tomorrow night, 7:30, stop back right here, and we'll be doing the interview, and then going to be talking some Portland Timbies, previewing some Portland Timbies. Got another guest for that, so it's going to be good. And then we're headed to Portland. I'm going. Noah and I will be there, bringing Colton. So it's going to be a little Lobbing Scorchers hits the road, taking the show on the road, and I think the plan is to do a show down there on location. I don't know if they'll let us do it at Providence Park, but we'll figure out somewhere. So we will be back at it. Again, like the video, sub to the channel. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all tomorrow night, 7:30 for Under the Lights. Night, guys. Don't want to give money to the oligarchs, but love Lobbing Scorchers? Do we have a deal for you? MLS Season Pass is back on Apple TV with access to every single MLS match, including Leagues Cup and the entire Audi MLS Cup playoffs with no blackouts. It's not just the games, you get total access to the pre- and post-match MLS 360 whip-around show in both English and Spanish, and get live look-ins and highlights from around the league, as well as full match replays and recaps. Now, you can support our show by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/Apple TV to purchase your subscription and support our show.
Lobbingscorchers.com/Apple TV. Please, don't let the oligarchs win.